Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who else
How y'all
is
doing?
listening to Sean's intro and all of a sudden just taking a step back and just chilling a little bit? Welcome to Rad Pod
I'm
and
throwing my high
Chill.
for in.
What's that?
Uh,
What'd you say, Sean?
just need
What'd you
y'all-
say, Sean?
I said, I need y'all just to take a moment. I want everybody to calm down. You know, good night tonight. Everybody's going to get into
So-
it. We can just change some theories, change some
Yeah.
ideas.
So-
We're going to have a good night.
We are
Sean-
going to fucking chill.
Sean Connor couldn't be with us tonight. In his stead is the ghost of Barry White. We
Nice to see
are we are going to have, you know what? I was going to introduce the show as a coup in search of a legal theory because I was ready to get down and start talking about what just happened today. My eyes are probably swollen from all the tears pouring down my cheeks on the 405 freeway. But instead, yeah, let's just chill. What do you got to say, boys?
Hi-fi in here.
Is that not here yet? I'm like go back and forth here, trying to figure out if our co-host can make it in the room or not. Anyway,
Well, High Five was taking
today
a
was
nap.
there's so much crazy shit going on. Just
Yeah.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is
I'm gonna deal
new?
with hi-fi. I'll be back.
We're gonna go ease into this episode because I got a lot to say. Jim's got a lot to say. Hi-Fi will
yes.
eventually wake up and smell the coffee. Yeah, what a day! What a day!
Let's just a shout out to Judge Luttig.
Yeah.
You know, it's for me. He shouldn't have been anywhere near that situation to begin with, right?
Yeah,
He probably let so much crazy shit go by without saying a goddamn thing.
Right.
You know, so you gotta temper any kind of hero worship with these guys. But that guy fucking stood up and said, Nope,
Yeah.
that's the part where you're taking over the country and you don't get to do that. Fuck you. And he said it pretty loud and clear. It seemed like to me when he said that Donald Trump and his followers are a clear and present danger to democracy.
Yeah.
This guy's like straight up Federalist Society, all the bad shit. Like been around, done all the bad legal things for all the bad people.
Yeah.
But he did have a fucking boundary somewhere, and we have to celebrate that when it happens.
Yes.
Yeah,
and let's celebrate that tonight. Let's put aside the things that we feel about a lot of these characters, and just know that when our country faced look, I'm all fucked up already.
Okay, don't get fucked up. I have a good.
Don't get fucked up, Heidi. Come on.
Wait. Let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
Let me finish. When we faced our most dire hour in certainly, I feel like my lifetime. I don't know about y'all's. People did not fall in line. And they stood up, and when Judge Luttig said that he would lay his body down on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. Like so.
It would take him 20 minutes to lay down.
Look.
Let's just
no.
Let's pour a little out.
Sad trombone. Shit.
Okay, hold on. So what? So Gal Suburban, the great Gal Suburban, who may or may not be here, sent me that clip, and I had the same reaction. I was like, Jesus Christ! I even did a little meme of him and the sloth from that Zootopia movie, where I was like, and then Gal was like, nope. What he said was fucking important, and I was like, Gal is right. And so I went and did a new version of it, which because I think he's had a recent stroke or something, and he simply takes longer to, actually physically do it. So I took
I hung on every word.
this piece from that was about 6 minutes long and got it to Twitter length at 2:20, and I think hopefully it makes it accessible to people who just can't sort of get over the delivery.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. Very impressive. Very articulate.
Should we play that? It's 2 minutes.
Do I have it? Good.
It's on it's on Substack right on the front.
Hi,
Okay.
Kathy. Hi, Gail.
Do you guys want to play it?
I think it's good. I think we should expose. Like for me, I want to get that guy's message out as much as we can, and we should probably do it. And I did the work to make it shorter than it would have been otherwise. So let's go ahead.
The magic of Jim's editing.
Yeah,
it was a lot of edits. You want to know what the trick was?
Well,
I eyeballed it all with the audio waveform instead of
That's interesting, Bonnie. I didn't know you had a stroke. I normally just talk slow because I'm stoned. So
Yeah, exactly, Bonnie. He clearly had. There was an impediment, and he got over it magnificently, right? Yeah. I was hanging on it, but a lot of people, you go to Telegram, and it was ugly. It was just all make fun of that guy.
Every word was important.
Yeah.
Well,
Jim, double check.
Beyond that, get rid of it.
It's from the please listen to Mike Pence's lawyer.
Yes, that guy. Yeah.
Here we go.
Mr. Chairman, I'm honored beyond words by your words. I was honored on January 6, 2021, then also honored beyond words to have been able to come to the aid of Vice President Mike Pence. I prayed that day, just like the Vice President prayed that day. I believe we may have prayed the same prayer to the same God. I prayed that same prayer with my wife this morning before I came into these hearings. I have written, as you said, Chairman Thompson, that today, almost 2 years after that fateful day in January 2021, that still Donald Trump and his allies and supporters are a clear and present danger to American democracy. That's not because of what happened on January 6th. It's because to this very day, the former president, his allies and supporters pledge that in the presidential election of 2024, if the former president or his anointed successor as the Republican Party presidential candidate were to lose that election, that they would attempt to overturn that 2024 election in the same way that they attempted to overturn the 2020 election, but succeed in 2024 where they failed in 2020. I don't speak those words lightly. I would have never spoken those words ever in my life, except that that's what the former president and his allies are telling us. As I said in that New York Times op-ed, wherein I was speaking about the Electoral Count Act of 1887, the former president and his allies are executing that blueprint for 2024 in open and plain view of the American public.
They sure as fuck are.
I would have never uttered one single one of those words unless the former president and his allies were candidly and proudly speaking those exact words to America. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to appear here today. Proceedings.
Yeah.
So look, man, that dude just fucking laid it out, and what he's saying is like it's the most important thing. Like, they're saying it to you. They're saying it out loud. I posted a thing, Mike Flynn, like, just straight up, like, let's have a civil war because of all the brown people coming into from South America. Like, it's those brown people, or it's the Islamic brown people, or it's any goddamn brown people to make a war. That's all
their
this is
greatest
about.
hits. Well, so what did we learn from our episode 28, which was amazing? Did Jim just freeze?
Yes,
we learned
Americans.
something. Yeah. So Todd Helmuth, who is a RAND senior behavioral scientist and researcher, taught us that part of what we have been living under and part of this propaganda war has been to push Americans to the extreme. So if you're a conservative, they're going to make you anti-immigrant. If you're progressive, they're going to make you so far to the left that your family doesn't recognize you. And the whole goal is to make us hate each other. So I don't want to see any more of that. I think we're now in on the ruse. And so when they start replaying their greatest hits like Caravan People, or they're taking your jobs, recognize it for what it is. Russian fucking propaganda as relayed by the Manchurian candidates of the fifth column.
Can I would like to point out
Sorry. Stop it, sound effects.
What in the hell was that, Sean? Jeez.
I got a soundboard now.
This is gonna be goofy. It's gonna be goofy.
I would actually like to point out there has been a legitimate effect of the Trump administration's anti-immigrant policies, specifically from Mexico, South America, et cetera. And that is that we do not have enough migrant farm labor to actually harvest crops that are being produced in the United States.
Amazing.
So food is rotting on the vine while food prices increase because of this anti-immigrant bullshit. I just wanted to share that with our audience.
And that's it's exactly the point. And part of the entire point, right, is this isolationist shit. It does stuff like, increases inflation, does all kinds of horrible stuff. And that's what they want. They are trying to, with everything they can, tear it apart to make every number go bad. They are shorting America.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're turning
and we see it very clearly. Yes, we see it very clearly. So what we saw today was the blueprint to overturn the 2020 election. The honorable judge called it tantamount to a revolution. Like everything related to Trump, he ultimately fails. But like we have
76 on their T-shirts. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. This is really close. It's close to you guys because we've been reporting on it for so long. Yeah. But for me and Jim, you said, and Sean, I sent you the Twitter thread I did on the second Byline Times report on the day 2 hearings. The reason I sent that to you in our group DM or group message is because Jim was quoted in that piece multiple places, but one of the first quotes that I use, if not the first quote, was how incredibly brilliant it is by this committee to be using members of Trump's own party as the storytellers and the narrators of this coup in search of a
I hate to say it. Hold on.
It's a rigid rule. Like they won't let Democrats don't get to tell any of the narrative. It's like,
well, that's why it's so effective. Is the Republicans are telling it.
It's brilliant.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
And I mean, I so far haven't seen a big misstep. I think I'm a little concerned that they're going to be super Trump focused and not get into, first of all, I haven't heard the word Russia the entire fucking time, which is, concerning because
however,
all of this is to benefit Vladimir Putin, all of it.
Yes. However, we did see something today, and I don't know if you want to pull up Jim's tweet or the one I sent you, Sean.
My tweet? Did he fucking tweet today? Holy shit.
No. The one we were talking about, Mr. Ivan fucking Rakelin.
Oh, Ivan.
Fat cue ball head motherfucker, what he is. He ran away from me because I was making fun of his cheap gas station sunglasses cutting into the sides of his fat head.
Mm-hmm. I swear to God, you are an unparalleled troll.
showed up. I mean, he was around. He was like vaguely sort of militaristic, kind of QAnon shithead. But then, like right around, leading up to 1/6, just started going crazy with like, I'm the military commander of the insurgency on the Capitol. I was like, what the fuck? Do you have that tweet from Christmas Eve 2020? Sean?
Let me see. Hold on.
Because I caught wind of this dude quick.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
He's
like,
still around.
he started tweeting, I think it was like the 21st or 22nd
Yes,
about planning for the mall. And then there was this tweet where you unfortunately you can't see the whole thing and I only have a screenshot because but he's talking about bringing medical bags and stuff. Yeah,
I remember that.
And water.
Yeah.
Surrounding
Who
the
else?
hospital. And I was like, what in the actual fuck is going on? Like, why is this okay? Hello, Twitter. What is happening? Why are you allowing this? And nothing. They just
They let it go.
I have my obviously my personal issues with Twitter, but I think Twitter has a lot of fucking things to answer for. Like, why did they allow this kind of activity to go on? Why is it okay for overt seditious planning of a fucking attack on the Capitol allowed on any platform?
All right. I gotta go back to something you said in the very beginning there, Jim. You said you talked about bringing medical bags, right?
Yes.
You know why that's important? That shows that they're recycling the Rittenhouse strategy. Part of Rittenhouse's bullshit was that he was a medic. He had a bag with some fucking Band-Aids and bullshit in it, right? He was a medic.
What he was saying was there's going to be violence. That's what
There's
he was
bringing body bag.
That was my
Well,
interpretation.
why do you think Rittenhouse brought his? It's also
Well,
plausible
yes,
deniability for
I
combatants.
get that, but it's slightly different. Rittenhouse was pretending to be a medic,
Right.
whereas this guy wasn't pretending to be a medic at all. He was saying, "We're going to make some people need some fucking medical bags."
Just like
That's a nice capital you got there. It's a shame if something
Something happened to it.
It's
just like Rittenhouse pretended to be a Texas A&M student.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
So for me, like the daughter of immigrant experience watching today's hearing, for me, it was the most moving one. And I'm looking at the country that I love, that we have been defending mightily as hard as we can for the last few years. And I'm just looking at this beautiful chairman, this incredible statesman, African-American, sitting next to Dick Cheney's kid with all of what that means, being led today by a Latino representative. And for me, it's like the America I grew up in California, NorCal, SoCal, is a melting pot of all these beautiful cultures. And today we saw some of that defending our country. So there was that extra layer, I think, of emotion and pride for me. And then just knowing, Jim, that they are completely screwing with Trump's narrative by just taking people like Dick Cheney's kid to dismantle their make-believe world. It's just nothing short of brilliant. But the only thing that also was very just so emotional, it's like you had all these people who seemed somewhat reasonable working in the fucking White House defending a reality TV piece of shit Russian asset. So it was a very mixed bag. It's like they helped normalize this creep, and yet failed treason was that bridge too far.
It's like, why would you allow yourself, an unqualified person, to be saving democracy, to get into a fucking position where you had to save democracy, if that's what you're claiming, right? Because that's kind of what this is, right? Like,
this is the backpedal, dude.
All the way to the last fucking possible minute, right before I knew I was going to go to prison for the rest of my fucking life, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop right here. There's a little bit of a lot of that, but
Yeah.
What we can't do is dwell on that. When people
No.
do make a decision, the thing is now
Yeah.
they have to stand by it, right?
Yeah.
Now what they don't get to do is go back to the same old anti-democratic shit they were doing before and making a living from. That's what they don't get to
Good
do.
luck with that.
Yeah. I hope
You think
so.
we
So
let Bill
I
Barr
would
off
like
the hook? I want to know
Yeah,
that.
we better fucking not have.
no.
That
I will.
dude's been in too much shit. Anyway, go ahead.
So we have 40 minutes of this hour, and I would like to request a favor from you guys. Okay, Mike Pence. All right, Coke-owned, homophobic. All the
Gay.
things that
Sorry.
I feel do not represent our progressive democracy, because we are one, contrary to what this fringe wants people to believe. But I'll be fucking damned if I'm not grateful to Mike Pence today. So I just want to have gratitude to Mike Pence for 40 minutes. And
No, I'm not gonna. No, 40 minutes is a long time to be grateful to Mike.
okay,
I'll give him one.
what's the difference? 20 minutes.
1 minute. One.
Hold on.
Give me
Guys,
20 minutes.
Let me jump in here. Here's the other point that we're learning, right? Is that there's that gray area. Not everyone is wholly evil, wholly good. People are capable of having moments, insights, events that would alter their normal course of behavior, and that's what we've seen here. And I hope we see more of that. Because these divisions are
Okay.
discussed
That
in
is
such,
correct.
with such
Beautiful.
finality, and nothing is that final, right? Every moment you have a decision.
Can you
That's
Can you
right.
imagine being the suck? All I want to say is imagine being the suck up to that bastard Trump for 4 years and having to be subservient and having an opportunity in the very end just to say, which I know Pence would not say, but just to, go, yeah, I you can call me a wimp if you want, but yeah, no.
So what?
I'm not doing it. I'm not leaving the Capitol. Certify this election. Might have been 4 years of.
I mean, sure, all that absolutely happened, and yet he, and never forget, in July of 2021, I think it was, he declared victory over COVID. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
He said, "We're done with this here, and you should all take your fucking masks off, and take some whatever fucking ivermectin or some shit." So
I know.
yes.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
And I'm still grateful for him. We haven't broken our timeline here, so
just give me
we're up to like 2 fucking minutes, and I'm breaking it in 2.
Okay, here's how much gratitude Mike Pence gets from me. Okay,
Oh, no.
Using the Dante model, he's at a slightly higher level than Trump and Putin.
Okay. Well, I will say that
that's my gratitude.
we are able to do this show, and we are able to still have a chance of saving our democracy because of actions that actually did occur or did not occur on that day. So I'm just saying, like, for me, that's big, and that's all I'm going to say. And we can move right along. But we can do this show.
What about when Trump was like, "You're not going to be my friend anymore"? Like
literally. Can you put Gal's comment up?
It was mobster speak.
Oh,
Everything Trump said was mobster speak. It was like Mussolini challenging. Oh my God!
It's true. Have you guys seen them? Like the weird sort of Zionist, Christo-fascist, thing that they all of Pence's people, they're like fully into the shofars and like they have lots of the Jews for Jesus guys at their things and that kind of stuff. It's I don't have a dog in that fight, even though I'm half Jewish, but it's gross.
I have a definitive answer here from Ruth Ginsburg's AI about whether or not Mike Pence is a hero. Would you guys like to see your answer?
That I do.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see.
We have our RBG's AI. Okay.
No. That's the answer.
He certainly. Can you read it or make it bigger?
He's
very
a very
decent
decent
man.
man, but I don't think
Wait,
American
put your voice on though.
Oh, I exited.
Okay. All right.
I don't think American heroes wear custom tailored black Brioni suits. I think he's a very good person. It just hurts right now that he's in the way in what we're trying to do. But he's given us no signals that he wants to stop. So we take him at his word.
Wow.
Well,
Our RBG is. I
mean,
don't get. Sorry, RBG.
So I'm sure that you guys, if you watched all of it today, and you guys already know this already, just how close we fucking came. You know that,
40
El
feet.
Trumpo would have,
40 feet.
40 feet.
yeah,
40.
it would have been,
Like you can run. I mean, I could run, like at this point in my life, I could run 40 feet in, couple 3 minutes at least, like
Shit. Yeah, that is the exact. That is the exact distance.
Yeah, it wouldn't take long.
That is the exact distance that we came to losing democracy. Is 40. If Pence had died, Insurrection Act, boom, immediately.
Yeah.
Flynn would have been in charge. We're fucked. So
I want to ask you guys this question because you guys are going to know. Because I don't know, but you guys are going to know. Why was Eastman so desperate?
I think Eastman is like Ginny. I wrote a big ass thing about Ginny today. I think they're genuinely brain fucked. I think Ginny Thomas is in a cult. I think John Eastman has been, taken all the way out as well, and they're just totally comfortable with the idea that what they're doing. You don't act that way in the positions they're in, like the fucking wife of a Supreme Court justice. You don't take the actions that she takes in the blatant way that she takes them if you don't actually believe what you're doing is legitimate at the end of the day, right? Like the people like Flynn,
she wasn't a cult before, so.
the people who know what they're doing, right, and aren't in the cult themselves, they act very differently than she does.
Yeah.
She's just out there fucking hammering down with the, in public with, beating on the fucking walls of democracy.
Yeah.
Even Flynn has a little bit of, shastiness.
Oh yeah.
Don't you love? Go ahead.
I do have an anagram for you guys.
Oh, great!
An Eastman anagram specifically.
Yeah, I mean, Sharon, I don't think Eastman believed that his legal theory had any weight. Just to be clear.
Well, no, he admitted they would lose 9-0 at the Supreme Court.
It wasn't that. It's not that. But I think he believes in his fucked up mind that that he has the right to do this because there was some evil committed against.
Okay.
Somebody.
I thought it was some juicy compromat. Okay, Shauner, go for it.
You guys ready? Here we go.
Did I say Shauner? I like that.
You did.
That's my new nickname for you. John. Oh God, I can't wait. Should I be scared though?
Channel's major
Oh, wow.
That's pretty solid.
Wow.
Solid.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna give that an 8 out of 10. That's
you know what else
I got two more. One of them is Barry
Manson in
Loudermilk.
there somewhere.
Oh, Barry Loudermilk.
Harry Loudermilk went from "There's no tour" to children's pictures in a hot second.
Well, do you know what's the most weird about that whole thing is the current chief of Capitol Police wrote a whole fucking letter about how that was super innocent and it's no big deal, and this is our official stamp of approval that wasn't anything. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So that was weird and makes me concerned that the Capitol Police still have some serious work to do.
Yeah.
It was Rico. It was a network. Anyway,
Bum, bum, bum. Barry
So let's
Louderman.
see it.
All right, guys, check this out.
very loud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like
I have-
875 right there. That's up
I
there.
have one I'd like you to do. It doesn't have to
Very,
be
very,
for tonight.
very solid work.
Very solid. I would like to request Eric Hirschman's Panda.
Okay, let me write that down.
Eric Hirschman's
Eric
pen.
Oh, yes. You didn't notice the big panda behind Eric Hirschman
What is-
the entire
what is
time
it
he was
painting?
interviewed?
With the reflection
It
of
was,
the
it was,
sun.
it was like it was like a panda, some kind of panda on the wall behind him.
Like a
But
mixed
every
medium.
time they turned to him, I was always really stoked because he said things like, I only want to hear 2 words from you, orderly transition, when he was imitating when Eastman called him. Yeah, Eric Hirschman's Panda. That would be my next
What
choice.
didn't he have like some other dude like in front of him the whole time too? Like there was like a guy up here and Eric Hirschman was talking back here. Like,
No, that was I think that was somebody else. That was one of Trump's aides toward the end. I don't remember. But I do find it very interesting that Giuliani was like, by the way, in case they're giving any last minute pardons, why don't you sign me up for that? These guys were like clearly aware that what they were doing was
guess what?
con artistry.
Guess what fucking Mike Flynn literally just did, and hat tip as fucking usual, Gal Suburban. Mike Flynn went on Steve Bannon's show to very plaintively and like aggressively push Andrew Giuliani for a Republican nominee for governor of New York.
That's very gangster of him. Very gangster.
Really ballsy. Like,
very gangster.
Bannon has been talking some shit.
Imagine how fucking ballsy you have to be to put that kid is like dumb as rocks. Like he really barely conscious and
Really sentient.
and he's the son. He's the son of a Russian mafia lieutenant who just got his law license revoked for real this time, and is about to go to prison for the rest of his dusty life. And it's just unimaginable that they are.
You called it dusty, and that was hilarious. Sorry.
Sorry.
I just have one word to say. Marcos. Marcos. What they do, obviously, is they try. No. If you look at the Philippines, there's another Marcos in power. So it's like if you can't get a Trump in, you got to get a Giuliani in. Next thing you know, they're going to be trotting Flynn's kid out. You need someone who's going to pardon you in your old age. Clearly, it worked for Kushner's dad, right? This is kind of
Kushner's dad, man. That dude is. No wonder he has an android for a kid. I mean, like you know what that guy did, right? With his sister and
brother-in-law,
whoa, dude! Like set up his wife and his brother and his sister.
Who hires a prostitute to try and sleep with your son?
Gangsters.
Well, that motherfucker apparently.
Yeah, it was. It was like how you get away with that shit is just. I mean, he didn't. He went to jail, but there's little Jared like in his fucking crib,
visiting him and
that's how you do it, Daddy. I got it.
No. The best thing for me is they keep on showing the whiny video. I thought it was just whiny. Had to blow whining. Oh my God. And honestly, I you know what? I don't usually go there, but we're gonna have this is Rad Pod and Chill, and we sort of go everywhere. I really do think that
Sean, do you put Jennifer's up?
Ivanka definitely needed more makeup. She needed more makeup. Yeah. She needed additional layers or whatever that stuff was. No, actually, it was the
What's it
alleged spy that used to be married to Rupert Murdoch.
What's it called? Androids only or bots only?
No, no. It was the marrying of two mobster kids.
Rich sociopathic mobster
Yeah,
match.com.
yeah. I'm sure the Thanksgivings are lovely, Dad's in Sing Sing. This one's got, trafficking a bunch of Eastern European models,
I'm surprised we don't talk more about the art forgery. That's an interesting one.
Think about the people who have been running this fucking country, right?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Epsteins and the Trumps and the and it turns out like not to be this bad, it turns like Bill Gates is a fucking piece of shit too, and like all these people are doing all this stuff.
That's a drag.
And it's just gross, and I'm sick of all these like psychopathic rich people doing this shit. At some point, it's just enough.
It's already been enough. That's what I was thinking today when I was listening. I was just like, we cannot allow people to vote for a reality TV president again. No reality TV people near our White House.
Well, we're already looking at DeSantis in 2024, right? I mean, that's what's coming down.
I don't know that we are. I want to stop with this foregone conclusions. I want to stop thinking that these evil people are going to run roughshod over our democracy. No.
Well, I think it's a matter of what they plan to do. I mean, we can try and stop them, but DeSantis is for sure the leading contender, in my opinion. Like Trump is not going to do it.
If the FBI would do their fucking job with Gates and the underage Venmo shit and his connections to Stone and fucking DeSantis, the whole fucking house of cards would fall apart. Everybody knows the Russian mob is all over South Florida. Why is this taking so long? What
because the world moves at the speed of the internet and justice moves at the speed of the 1800s, to quote Hi-Fi. That's what's happening. We're seeing actions take place that were initiated 9 years ago. When Jack Hannock got arrested in London, that was from sanctions from 9 years ago. It's slow. And Marty said it best. The government witness is wearing a 2-for-1 suit with a bad haircut. The witness for the defense comes in with a $2,000 suit. So,
Well, if people want to hire, I mean, you think about it, the Department of Justice has had to bring in more people because of how many prosecutions they're handling around January 6th.
Can I tell you what Marty said today? So clearly we are looking at some of these nonprofits that's been funding some of this gangsterism, and they are using it for political purposes, and that's illegal, right? Turning Point USA, case in point, right? So check it out.
Every church
the IRS
at this point.
Okay, the IRS goes after. Remember when the IRS clamped down on the Tea Party organizations that were supposed to be nonprofits, and you know what the results were, according to Marty? Starving the IRS of of bodies and people and investigative power.
Oh yeah,
so everything we do, we think, why aren't they doing something? Because they're looking at which ways they can get effed up by so doing. So there's a lot of strategies that go into this, but yes, I'm tired too. I'd like to go back to our old lives, where we had hobbies and
Yeah, remember that when we all had hobbies?
I got hobbies. I got a hobby.
What's that?
It's putting billionaires in cages.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. It's like I know, it's so funny.
That's my hobby.
It's just so funny. It's so funny.
It's going to take me years, but I'm going to do it. Don't worry.
All right.
I have one remaining contact with the real world, which is the Warriors, and they're up by 17 points, so I'm good right now.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
One of my hobbies.
So all this gloom and doom shit is that's fine. Like I'm good until the Celtics go on a run.
Donner,
so one of my hobbies is
clips. Yeah,
making snarky videos.
We would have never known that about you.
Mine is getting banned from shit.
Do you have any snarky ones for you?
I found a snarky one that I made for Jared. If you guys want to watch that one.
I do. Although I got to say, I do miss KGB. I've been thinking about that one a lot. We need to do a greatest hits one day.
All right, here's my Jared snarky video.
You remember KG?
That is gorgeous. Is that new?
Yes, it is. I love it. He went to Jared.
Oh, Jared. Oh, I love this.
Oh, thank you. He went to Jared.
Oh, these?
He went
To Jared. Oh, of course he did.
From hand sanitizer to bedside ventilators, both imported and domestic, Jared simply offers more distinctive personal protective equipment which makes it easy to speak like a con man. Fortunately, there's a Jared in charge of you. Personal protective equipment for us. Backups for you. Jared. The Galleria of our PPE.
I'm sorry, the 1%. Nice
Whoa.
touch, Connor. Nice touch. Oh
Let's
my
start the video.
God.
Man, no
Yeah.
punches were pulled in that shit, man.
How many of you guys remember those
Good
Jared?
time.
You remember the Jared
Good
jewelry
time.
commercials? Where was that in the cross country?
Oh yes,
Jared,
that's right.
what's Oh, she got a Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared. It must have been Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
audience. That's my start.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then there was the subway Jared, but I don't want to segue over there.
No.
So I did, Fiddle did cut us some clips from EP28. I don't know if you can access them from the timeline, but there's one or two that I would love to talk about. One is the extreme forgiveness one. So if you go to the RadPod timeline, you might be able to find it. They should be pretty close to the top. I think we all kind of know this because we're, basically students of Dr. Stephen Hassan, and, Jim has talked a lot about this. But the extreme forgiveness when we are dealing with radicalized people, and I am finding it very effective in my own life. I'm building bridges that I didn't even think I'd have the capacity to do. And that's just by being a safe space for people, just letting them talk and staying out of judgment, even when I recoil in horror. I still try to, because I know that from what we've learned, to keep people close, you're that safe space they go to if they're ready to come back to what I believe is reality.
That's really, really important, Heidi. So important. It's look, you cannot force somebody out of anything. You can't force them out of a cult. But what you can do is give them opportunities to do it themselves. And the way you do that is by making sure that you stay in contact and you don't antagonize the ideology that has been unduly influenced into their brain. And that's like, so you can talk about personal stuff and the weather and whatever, but if you start talking about politics or whatever it is that makes you rides you, then you become the enemy. So don't do that.
That's right.
But if you can, and one important thing, don't only do it if you can handle it emotionally and it's not harming you, because people like that can be harmful.
Yeah.
And you're not responsible for them. You are not responsible.
You are not.
I just
common ground. Common ground is useful to find. I find food actually is a really good bonding. Like everybody likes food, right? Specifically barbecue, but that's probably just because I smoked that joint in the beginning. So never mind.
You guys want to watch the video?
Do you know what people really like? Akron coffee. Akron coffee is what people really like.
All right, let's watch the
hint.
radical.
I will get you the Akron coffee. I have time Saturday morning, so.
Why would Akron?
Dude, Hi-Fi sent me some Akron coffee, roasted in Akron. That is the best coffee I've ever had, and I am a coffee girl, as you know. My supporters have bought my coffee for the last year, and
Akron is low key.
Get myself good coffee.
I mean, think about Akron.
Do you remember the name of it? What's the name of the cafe? Do you remember?
They have so many different roasts, and like it changes. They buy really small batch. So
is it called Akron Coffee? Yeah, it's so good.
Akron Coffee Roasting.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like the
I think
best,
they're on the web.
most succulent brew. So did we find it, Connor, or no?
Yeah, we did.
We can vamp on
been
acting
trying to introduce
if
the
you
last
want. We
5
could continue
coffee
the
Do
acting.
you want to introduce it, Shawner? Do you want to
I've been
introduce
trying
it?
for the past 4 minutes now.
Well, try harder. Why don't you put your voice on?
Put your
We'll listen to you
finger in
then.
To me, the
air.
biggest thing is just you want to hate these people, and they've done shit that make you want to hate them.
Yeah.
And you can hate them, but if you treat them with hate, then they're never coming out. If you alienate them, if you disgust toward them, at some point, what we talk about is sort of extreme forgiveness. You have to be able to forgive these people for the things that they've done, and you need to be able to accept them back in. And this is to learn from the other conspiracy theory study you did. There's people with conspiracy theories, and some are anti-vax, and you're like, I can't stand anti-vaxxers because they're perpetuating the pandemic, yada yada. But if you treat them with hate, then they're never going to change. The only way you can get them to change is to be able to open up with them and give them a safe space.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Let the
Extreme
clinical
forgiveness.
psychologist tell you instead of me.
Behavioral. He was amazing. So we also have some insights from him on Russia, which we've talked about a little bit. If you want to throw one of those in there, or Adrian Goldberg, whichever you want. But I'm very
Let's
grateful.
get some
that,
Russia in the conversation.
but particularly the one about how they're trying to make us hate ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I think if so, I don't think people realize on a local level how much Russia has infiltrated every, nook and cranny of our lives. 300 million shares on Facebook in 2016 of Russian propaganda, 10 million tweets. That's a lot of psychological warfare.
Those numbers are missing a zero.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, yeah. So, Sean, or should we shut up? Or are you still looking for it?
No.
About that coffee.
So I got
About that coffee.
I love this show, and I love.
Do we have a producer on the show, like a live producer?
Not tonight. We don't. Not tonight. We don't.
You guys asked
Bet you
about
ask we do.
Russian propaganda. I mean,
Yeah.
Russian propaganda is the real deal. I'm not sure what you want me to say here. They most definitely tried to interfere in the 2016 election. They disseminated some 10 million tweets. Their content on Facebook received over 300 million interactions. They are definitely trying to influence things. What we're seeing right now in Ukraine is that they're not doing a very good job of it because things are going so poorly for them in Ukraine, and their invasion was so baseless that I think, at least from a Western audience, it's been hard. They've been sort of hard pressed to convince anybody, but they're real. And they would certainly like to be able to gravitate a certain percentage or a certain audience in the U.S. to their side to limit the ability of, say, Western sanctions or to limit Western support for Ukraine.
That is correct. The only reason why I say that he's underestimating is because I think he's talking about IRA, Internet Research Agency, Russian accounts, right? But that's the vast majority of Russian propaganda doesn't get sent that way. It gets sent by Jack Posobiec and fucking he has 2 million followers. He doesn't need that's
Steve Bannon's podcast,
which is massive, hundreds of thousands of viewers every fucking day. So that's how Russian propaganda really gets spread. Not necessarily from these kind of dedicated IRA bots. I mean, in some ways, to be honest with you, the whole idea of Russian bots is kind of a distraction, and I think partly intentionally, because that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
And Sean, what did you say?
Oh, I said Steve Bannon has been talking some big shit. You guys heard him going after Garland, going after Bill Barr.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's always talking big shit. But what do you mean going after Garland?
Yeah.
Well, saying we're gonna come after you when we win the midterms. It's more than just we're going to impeach you. We're going to come after you. We're going to teach you a lesson. Very, very revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Merrick Garland is a dangerously so a scapegoat. One of my proudest achievements was getting Mike Flynn to get his fucking chat taken off of Telegram. And the reason that happened is because I pointed out the hundreds and hundreds of death threats, like real straight up, I'm going to hang you, shoot you, all the bad things. And with all the bad words that you can possibly imagine in Mike Flynn's Telegram threads on these tweets that are their posts that he just puts up there intentionally to create this giant like swarm of death threats. And they just got so bad. And then there was a cop that we tracked down who was doing it. And it was like, and so he had to shut that shit down. But that's the point of it, right?
That's very important that you did that, Jim. And I want to say two things. One, Connor, I just noticed your shirt. It's awesome. And two,
thank you.
Partially because of Connor's work and disinformation doctors, the doctors who are standing up to disinformation and all kinds of things, and the 840 arrests, for the January 6th. Dr. Simone Gold of American Frontline Doctors is going to prison.
That's amazing. She already went once, I think.
She did. She got arrested.
This is a return trip, right?
This was part of her plea deal, I believe.
Yeah. I'm sure
recidivism is a serious problem.
Yeah, I mean, Simone, I think also is one of these. It has a big true believer strain, because she's just been she's just so over the top and like bananas about it.
But if you look at her history, she also has a true grifter streak. What she was charging for her services. So I think that true believer, true grifter thing might be like an intersection.
I totally agree. I'm not letting that woman off the hook. Fucking
the shirt was a birthday present for me.
Oh, it's your birthday yesterday! Can we sing a birthday song?
This is for my 10-year-old.
OPSEC people, OPSEC. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. So she wanted me to look like what's the guy in Stranger Things? Hopper.
Oh, yeah.
And she got it for me. She's like, "Oh, you can look like Hopper." So,
is it still kind of like an 80s show, 80s vibe on that show? It was also sweet. It was so Goonies-esque when I watched it.
It's a little more than Goonies right now. It got fucking dark.
Is it good?
So the theme song, the guys that did the synth stuff, they're all from Austin.
Yeah.
Analog synth nerds.
I haven't watched anything. I watched one French film in the last few months because I've been working too hard, and then Peaky Blinders with Hi-Fi. I think another season's starting, so I'll be bugging you about that.
The last season, as a matter of fact, so we got to marathon it.
I'm excited. Hey, so Connor, there's one more Russian clip from Helmus, and just so people know who he is, he's a very bright behavioral scientist, PhD, and all of that. Works for RAND and does incredible reports with his colleagues on domestic extremism, Russian propaganda. That guy was so cool. So cool. Someone who just so cool, knows all the facts right there off the top of his head, as y'all do.
Is that
but also spend a bunch of time in Afghanistan and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's also pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Make Americans hate each other?
Yes, I just think it's very important for people to know that they're being played.
All right. Let's see. Here we go.
Russia, definitely for the 2016 election, they targeted both the left and the right. 2016, 2018, 2020, they're targeting the left and the right. With the right, an interesting approach about what Russia does is they take people's views and I feel like they want to make them more extreme. Mm-hmm. They want to make conservatives not just fiscally conservative. They want the conservatives to hate immigrants. Mm-hmm. They don't want African Americans just to be connected, suspicious of sort of how the Western world engages with them. They want them to be isolationist and militaristic. And they wanted to turn Hillary Clinton supporters into Bernie supporters. Right? So whatever position people are in,
Right.
Russia wants to move them even further away. And in our view, that the whole goal of that, of course, that works for them a little bit on the election side, and they definitely wanted to support Trump over Clinton. That was clear. But even more than that, they want to make Americans hate each other.
Yeah. That's it.
What?
That's it.
That's the game. That's the game.
They took Hillary people and turned them into Bernie people, and then they took Bernie people and turned them into fucking cultists. Honestly, a lot of them. A lot of the Chapo trap house troll tanky shitheads that come after us come from that pipeline from 2016, where a bunch of propaganda and Pizzagate shit got sucked into the left and sucked them into this weird universe that they live in now, where they just pretend to be like, we're fighting Nazis, but that's
yeah.
It's the red-brown pipeline, man. I did a whiteboard on it. Remember?
So I have one more anagram.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
You saved one, didn't you? Look at that.
He's got the special.
Look at Sean producing. He produced.
He was supposed to just chill tonight.
January 6th committee. Here we go.
And you spelled the city right.
Better be good. You did.
It's gonna save our goddamn democracy. I am jury. I am the context. I want that on his shirt. I love that.
I am jury.
I love that.
I am juror. I am the context.
I want to say it one more time before we go. That judge said I would have laid my body across the road. And I just don't know why that touched me so much. But I think I was raised by German immigrants, and they came out of really a terrible place. They come to America, which was my dad's dream, and nobody loved this country more than my dad. So you hear somebody say something like that, and it touches.
America is meant to be a land of immigrants. I mean, we've always been a land of immigrants. The Native Americans, who we could committed genocide basically on.
Oh, what did they
really need to help them out?
What was it? Legacy Americans? Because they bring up this point. We've always been immigrants, and like, well, no, a legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, the real legacy is invaders, but after that, yes, lots and lots of immigrants.
The Native Americans.
There was something beautiful about what happened today. I feel like the two worlds. I feel like the world of reality and truth has really been under siege since 2014, but really in full throes of it since 2016. And listening today, I feel like reality is starting to really pummel the propagandists, and I'm hoping I'm right, because it'll make a difference in November. And Jim, one more thing. We got 2 minutes here. You said that the cult of Trump has already moved on, and I believe he's already shit for ratings now. Shit for brains, shit for ratings. You said they've already moved on from him. Who have they moved on to? Is it Flynn, DeSantis?
It doesn't right now. It doesn't matter. It's because it's not. It doesn't actually need a leader right now. Like Q wasn't the leader back then, right? All it was a sort of totem for this anti-democratic propaganda.
Okay.
And so they can still use Trump for that. They can use Flynn for that. They can use Matt Gaetz for that. They can use.
They'll throw in another avatar.
They can use Ron DeSantis for that. Who's groomer guy, right? Right. He's out there creating propaganda for QAnon and its descendants. Like that's
and we're gonna expose it, and we're gonna shut it down with anagrams.
I would like to close the show. I would like to close the show with a quick telling of Hercules and the Hydra, right? Hercules, you cut off the Hydra's head, 2 more grow back, right? So what Hercules did is he cut off the head and he took a torch and he burned the neck stump all the way down. And then the head stopped growing back. And that's how he defeated the Hydra.
Oh, that was a sweet story.
Such a nice story to end. Sean,
the end. I feel like
I need you to end it,
Sean.
I need you to end it. I need you to clean that up. That was beautiful. High five. But really.
I'll see you later. Bye, guys.